Mercedes had its best weekend of the season. Rivals are concerned about glimpses of its unbeatable pace, and the German manufacturer is already preparing a major update for the Spanish Grand Prix. This is Formula One news, and today we will talk about Mercedes' possible return to the top, which might turn out to be a one-time flash in the pan. The Canadian Grand Prix gave us plenty of overtakes, a battle for the win, a fight for the podium, and strategic wars. And for the Mercedes team and its fans, it offered hope for a swift return to the fight for victories. The tactic of small but consistent updates seems to be paying off, and the Mercedes car is becoming more stable and faster. The main goal Mercedes set for itself was to expand the car's operating window and create a stable foundation for future performance-oriented updates. With each update, they came closer to their goal, noting the car's improved behavior and the fact that real-world data finally fully correlates with the simulator. Perhaps the biggest improvement in the last few Grand Prix has been the new front wing of the W15. The first positive feedback about it came at the Monaco Grand Prix when it was installed on George Russell's car. However, the narrow and slow streets of the legendary track didn't allow for a full test of the update, which can't be said about the Canadian Grand Prix. The various turns of the Montreal track allowed the real scale of the improvements to be seen, and they are substantial. During free practice, Lewis Hamilton set an incredible lap, being 0.374 seconds faster than Max Verstappen. Meanwhile, Helmut Marko confirmed that Max used the same engine settings and didn't have any hidden performance. The results of the long runs were also impressive, and Toto Wolff even called their pace stratospheric. Perhaps this was an overly dramatic description, but the optimism of the Mercedes team principal is understandable, as is the concern of their competitors. Andrea Stella, in particular, admitted that some of the lap times set by Mercedes were unattainable for his team. I was already saying on Thursday to some of your colleagues that I think Mercedes is part of the fastest teams. Some of the lap times they did the Monaco, some of the lap times they did in the previous events, they were at that stage of the weekend for us, out of range. We could not do that lap time at that time of the weekend, not even with low fuel and engine up. Clearly they had potential, and I think they're starting to learn how to use it. It seems that Mercedes has indeed managed to unlock some performance that was inherent in their car using relatively small updates. This is already significantly better than what we saw in previous seasons, when the team constantly changed philosophies and didn't know which direction to take. According to Toto Wolff, they already have a development plan, and the next update will be a new floor being prepared for the Spanish Grand Prix. There is also cautious optimism within Mercedes that they are finally moving away from the difficulties they faced in the past when improvements didn't yield the expected results. I think definitely since Imola we've taken the right steps and put parts on the car that are working, something that we were struggling in the past couple of years. Now directionally, we seem to be adding performance every weekend, and we have new stuff coming also, new parts coming in Barcelona that should help us. So I would very much hope that we can continue this positive trajectory. Mercedes' progress is currently obvious, but is it perhaps being overstated? To understand this, we need to wait for the next few Grand Prix. The chaotic nature of the Canadian Grand Prix, with constant rain and the inability to properly set up the car for consistent weather conditions, might have exaggerated Mercedes' real pace. The Spanish Grand Prix should also be viewed with caution, as Mercedes traditionally performs well in Barcelona, but struggles to replicate this pace in subsequent Grand Prix. Moreover, other teams are not standing still, and will also be making improvements. Therefore, we need to wait for a few more Grand Prix to see how Mercedes' future updates perform, and how the W15 behaves on tracks with high-speed corners, which have arguably been its biggest weakness. And what do you think? Will Mercedes really soon return to the fight for victories? Or has this progress been deceptive, and the real progress will take longer to happen? Share your thoughts in the comments.